Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker this evening, a warm welcome please to Terry Madden, who's the CEO of the Bankstown City Aged Care. Terry Madden.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the opportunity of talking to you tonight, and welcome to our local federal members and our state member, Tanya, and our Mayor, Carl. My name's Terry Madden and I'm the CEO of Bankstown City Aged Care. As I look around the audience, I can see a lot of potential clients here. We are a charity. We're a public benevolent institution and we've been around since 1972, almost 40 years. It's a unique organisation in that it's owned by 14 member organisations. Those members started us in 1972 and they're still with us. Those members are Bankstown Council, Bankstown Hospital, the 3 Lions clubs of Bankstown, Bankstown Rotary, and 8 of the largest licensed clubs in Bankstown that now need your help. Bankstown Sports, Revesby Workers, the Trotting Club, Bankstown RSL, Panania Diggers, Chester Hill RSL, Bass Hill RSL, and Revesby Ex-Servos. 40 years ago, those members had the foresight to see that Bankstown needed aged care facilities for the frailest members of our community, the elderly and those suffering from dementia. Back in 1972, Gough Whitlam had been elected Prime Minister, and as Prime Minister he introduced aged care funding so that the Commonwealth provided 75% of all the cost of building aged care, and aged care providers like us had to find 25%. The clubs did their part in those days, and for the first 20 years they donated $700,000 just to us, just to our one organisation, and there are other aged care organisations in Bankstown that receive funding. That was a huge sum. That was towards our share of the 25%. In 1996, the Howard government made changes to that funding model to build aged care facilities in the metropolitan area. And instead of giving capital money up front, they gave you money in dribs and drabs on a daily basis by way of a subsidy. The idea was that we would save up that money and then build our aged care facilities. But because we don't have the money up front, we have to borrow the money from the banks, and a large chunk of that money that we get goes in paying interest rates. Has that scheme worked? No, it hasn't. We spent $42 million as one organisation alone in the last 20 years building aged care facilities in Bankstown. If the old Gough formula was still going, we would have got $30 million from the Commonwealth. In fact, we got $18 million, so we're short $12 million. Where does that money come from? Over the last 20 years, the licensed clubs have looked at what the government is doing and have done their level best to help us. In the last 20 years, our 8 licensed clubs have given us $4.5 million. In addition to that, the directors and senior staff from the clubs have donated their time and effort to be board members, and that's a voluntary job that they've been doing for over 40 years for no payment. In other words, the clubs have provided the backbone, the vision and the leadership of providing aged care in Bankstown. Do they have to do that? No, they don't. As a result of their leadership, we now look after 600 old aged people in Bankstown. We look after 200 people in their homes and we look after 60 in our daycare centres. It costs $15 million a year for us to operate our business. Next week at the CDSE 2011 funding round, the clubs will donate another $275,000 to our organisation, which we certainly need. We will need to spend another $20 million over the next 5 to 10 years to upgrade all of our old building stock to enable the elderly to have the best home environment we can give them. Do you honestly think that the government is going to give us that $20 million? We are still short $12 million from the last 20 years. So we've got no hope of getting a further $20 million from them. Again, we'll be asking the clubs to help us. Are we the only charity affected by all these changes? No, we're just one charity in Bankstown. Over the years, I've seen the clubs donate to hundreds of charities in Bankstown. I've seen them help sporting organisations, public hospitals, refuges, multicultural groups, schools, disabled groups. All these people get assistance from the clubs. If this ridiculous legislation is passed and the clubs have to spend the estimated $3 billion to be compliant, and our clubs alone will have to spend $42 million to be compliant just in this area, do you honestly believe they will have the funds to help those 100 charities in the future? Of course they won't. Will the government step in and help? The government's borrowing more money. How on earth are they going to give us some? The licensed clubs are the lifeblood of our community. They have been started by community-minded people who have started with nothing. They have scrimped and scraped enough together to buy or build an old house, and from that old house over the years, they have built the magnificent clubs and with the wonderful facilities that the average working person from Bankstown can enjoy. If clubs are left as they are, they will continue to build on this great legacy, and they will be building greater facilities in the future. If, however, this legislation goes through and the clubs cannot do that, then charities like ours will be very adversely affected. We would have to provide ward-like accommodation in our facilities rather than individual rooms with their own en-suites, as we provide for all of our residents now. In summary, what I would like to say to Darryl and to Jason and to the other federal members here, sorry, Craig, the other federal members here, is that vote with your hearts and not as the party tells you to. It really is common sense. Staying in power is not worth what you're giving up. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have 4 electorates represented here tonight.